Right, guys, welcome back to the channel. We've got an absolute warrior on the show today, Eric Olsen, bare knuckle boxer, multiple combat sports. I think you've fought in, I can't even remember the amount that I've researched you on. You just fight. Basically, you just
Yeah,
fight anybody at any time, anywhere, any combat sports. Bare knuckle,
yeah,
the kickboxing to anything. If there's money in it, you're there.
yeah.
You've also yeah, you've also got
Like
a big personality on online. You've got a massive personality online. You've hit the scene, and man, I've been researching a few of your uh your fights and your interviews. You're just crazy. You're mad. Like, but you come across really, really well. Where I want to start off with this is, where are you from? Tell the audience where you're from. And
Long Island, New York. West Islip, Long Island, New York. I was born there, and I wrestled there for a little bit. Midget novice wrestling, like first grade, second grade. Then I moved to New Jersey, South Jersey, Barnegat, New Jersey, near Trenton. And then I moved back in sixth grade, and I continued wrestling in Jersey heavily in midget novice tournaments and everything. And then I moved back to Long Island, New York, Levittown. So I always announce myself as officially from Levittown because it's got a bit of a reputation as being like a place of like drug addicts and white trash and burglaries. Basically, it's the type of place where like people will break into your house and rob a broken TV. And I like that. That's good. Sell like heroin and sell cotton and overdose and sucker punch police. So that's why I like to represent Levittown. Love it
sounds
trash.
good. So it sounds like a nice place.
Yeah.
Listen, man, listen, that's for the best. Listen, I don't care what anybody says. Anybody that I meet from these high flying areas, I can't get on with them, right? I prefer people from real places that have lived, I've got a lived experience, that are in the trenches, that good working hard people, that maybe the neighborhood's full of drugs or whatnot. But you mentioned something there. You talked about wrestling. Did you start off with wrestling then in high school?
No, grade school, first grade school. I was wrestling since I'm 5 years old. Uh, they give you permission slip to sign up in America. Sign up, and every day after school you go and you wrestle. You train in the classes. It's about an hour, 2 hours. Back like hour and a half, 2 hours when I was 5 years old. Monday through Saturday, and then you do your tournaments, and then you just do that forever. And if you take it seriously, then you go to states. You try to get into college for it. But I stopped taking it seriously midway through. It was boring to me after doing it ever as a kid. But yeah, wrestling, a lot of wrestling tournaments, first place, second place. Basically just drills in the UK everyone thinks they're a boxer. They're not, but they think they're a boxer. And so like in boxing, you have your jab as your fundamental, your footwork, your half steps and your quarter steps. So in wrestling, you have, your underhooks, your overhooks, your single legs, your double legs, your low singles, your high crotches, your ankle picks, your low singles, as I said, front headlocks, things like that. These are basics that if you drill them 100 billion hours as a kid, instinctually they're built into your genetic like muscle encoded DNA. Like if you grab somebody, you're gonna immediately shoot an underhook. If someone grabs you in an underhook, you're gonna go for a heavy whizzer overhook, stuff like that. Yeah. So I grew up and started out wrestling. I don't think I'm no Daniel Cormier amazing wrestler, but I can do very well. I have a more of a defensive MMA style of wrestling. It is difficult to take me down unless you're a very serious wrestler. And if we're punching and kicking and headbutting and biting and all that, it's a very bad day. If I'm in the street with you and I have a knife and I'm trying to stab you, you're not going to stop me. If you don't care who you
Hmm.
are, I'm going to get you. And that's that. That's if I just don't shoot you.
Well, look, I've only ever had or I only had like an encounter with a wrestler once. I was doing jiu-jitsu. This guy comes in from the States, baggy jeans, didn't look like much, came in, the guy, I actually went over, shook his hand. He says, I goes, what do you do? He goes, I'm a wrestler. I'm just over here seeing the coach.
Yeah.
Joined us in the mats for a while. This guy took me down, couldn't get up. Felt like there was a 10-ton wheel sitting on top of me. He was
Pressure.
half my weight, and I thought to myself, "What is this? What are you doing to me right now?" Couldn't do anything. I felt like a baby lamb. I was a gazelle, and he was the lion. And I was so humbled. A lot of the guys didn't like it, but whenever
Yeah,
I
jiu-jitsu
felt,
guys hate wrestling because wrestling kills jiu-jitsu. Listen,
yeah,
I'm a 20-year white belt in jiu-jitsu. I have done jiu-jitsu on and off under Matt and Nick, Sarah, Rodrigo, Gracie, Glacian's about. If you're not an active jiu-jitsu guy, I can fucking rip you up with submissions. And if you are an active jiu-jitsu guy, I can still catch you. It isn't new to me to tap out purple belts. It's a thing I can do. Or if I can't, I'll just control you with heavy pressure and top pressure. And again, I view my grappling off of a fight type mentality. If I start on my feet and I blast you in the nose and I grab you, I body lock you and I smack you on the ground, and then I get on top of you and I gift wrap you and I just start punching you or stabbing you or cutting you or biting you or gouging your eyes. That's my intent on grappling. I'm not looking to pull guard on you and to hit you with a fucking omoplata or a heel hook. It's not something I try to do in rolling, and I don't do it live in the street, in jail, in prison, or in the fights. Everything is heavy control standing, isolate, slam, control, position, and fucking get you. And that's just my view on grappling. Now, jiu-jitsu is great. Jiu-jitsu is like the college of grappling. I say wrestling is your fundamentals in your grade school. If you just have a pure wrestler, like a college wrestler, versus a jiu-jitsu real guy, the college wrestler will take him down and control him, but the jiu-jitsu guy also won't let him. He'll sit down and then he'll rip his heel off. He'll rip his leg off with a fucking leg lock, or he'll choke him out because wrestling is a control-based sport. Submission grappling, jiu-jitsu is a killing sport. We're going to kill you by choking you to death or breaking your neck or ripping your ligaments and your bones off your body with joint locks, omoplatas, arm bars, knee bars, leg bars, ankle locks, things like that. So all I train is jiu-jitsu and wrestling. I don't believe in boxing. It's fun. It's like a kid's sport. Kickboxing, I've done 100 fights in it. I don't care about it. It's weak. If you put the best of those guys against the best grapplers, the grapplers ragdoll. Even the training, I can sit there and do a 2-hour Muay Thai class. It doesn't hurt. You do a jiu-jitsu class that's soft, where you're up and down. Just to getting the
hmm
fuck off the floor and up and down hurts your body, let alone a fucking collegiate wrestling class, which is 2 fucking hours of an hour of warm-ups with one water break, and then an hour or 45 minutes of drilling and then live wrestling. I
hmm
mean, it wear and tears your body to the fucking 10th degree. Um, yeah, so
Well,
I'm a
what
big
look, we've only got a bit of time with you because you're a busy guy, so I'll just get straight into the meat and the potatoes of the questions. Obviously,
fan.
I could talk to you about that subject for about 4 hours because
Yeah, I'm a big grappling fanatic.
yeah, I'm interested in been researching you, and you're a veteran in that game. You know this game better than a lot of people, and as I say, I could speak to you for 4 hours about the subject, but we're a wee bit pressed for time, and there's a question that I have for you. Where does your anger stem from? Why are you so angry?
Why not? I don't know. Don't care really. Why does a crocodile fucking kill
Hmm
fucking gazelles that drink out of the water? Why do lions hunt zebras? I mean, I can sit here and pretend that I'm some deep philosopher, which I'm not,
hmm
but this isn't therapy and I'm not a therapist.
hmm
So I don't care ultimately. Who knows?
So
All I
basically,
know,
you see this as I am the alpha male. I am the predator in the sense of
well,
men.
Predator, I
I'm not
don't
going.
feel any of that alpha stuff. No, that's not me.
Yeah.
I'm not the guy that runs around Mr. Alpha Male. I am a very quiet,
hmm
isolated person. I don't want social interaction for the most part. If I'm in the gym and people are loud, I'll go the other way. If people say hello to me, I'll say hello back. I read books. I drink fucking tea and orange juice. I am not that guy standing out there with his fucking sleeves cut off his t-shirt thinking he's fucking tough. Nah, I just do anything I want to do when I want to do it. And if that involves anything, I mean, I used to belong to the Freeport Chess Club. Or
Hmm.
if that involves murdering somebody because I'm bored and it's fun, or killing you because you annoyed me at some point in my life, I'll do it. I'm not going to go over details of, well, I could get in trouble, where their family will cry. I don't care. If we have reached that limit of something you've done has triggered me, then whatever. I have my morals, three of them. I don't hurt kids. I don't hurt animals. I don't hurt old people. In kids, I mean women too. I'm not into women.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But if you're a guy of sound mental health and body that has thought you could play with me or do something in my brain to trigger me, then whatever comes from it comes from it. But no, I'm not that fucking, you wouldn't even know if I'm in a room for the most part. I'm not somebody that wants to be seen. I do not want to be heard. I don't want to really interact, but I'm very polite to everybody. So when people say that alpha male stuff, no, that's not me. I don't consider myself that. I don't even consider that a real theory, really. I consider
Hmm.
animals to be like ones with alphas and betas, but I don't think human beings fall into that role. I think that's a thing people try to use to justify behavior patterns, but that's just me. I don't
Well,
know.
just say
Anger, what?
for instance, like obviously you enjoy the chaos, the war. This is why you're in the bare knuckle box, and this is why you'll take any fight at any time. You do not care. You will fight. You'll say it how it is. I watched your interviews. You do not give one fuck what people think of you. I watched an interview
Like the
between.
motherfuckers anyway.
Well, do you know what I mean? Like you, I've seen one about with you and Bash. You said it how it is. I like Bash. I was watching him. I think he's an alright guy, but the way you
Bash is
spoke to
not an
him,
all right guy. You don't know Bash though.
right? Okay.
See, you don't know Bash. I know Bash. Bash is
Hmm.
a drug addict and a sneak. So Bash, what started all that, and I'll say it to the world again. So two things about Bash. He beat up an old man in a pub. I've had people piss me off. I don't even beat drunk people up if they bother me because why? They're pointless. He beat up an old man, like a fucking 64, 65-year-old man in a pub with his friends. Then he also goes around beating up addicts. Now, look, everyone wants to pretend in England or the UK to be some type of fucking drug dealer. I actually was involved with people dealing drugs, and this will get people real angry. And it wasn't just cocaine, it was heroin. We were murdering communities, we're dying. Okay, who cares? Heroin, Oxycontin, where you could see overdoses every week in the paper. And I'm making money. The point of what I'm telling you this is that he plays a little drug thing. If you're going to sell drugs to a person who's an addict, you have to understand that person suffers from an addiction, and you have to understand that what if I give you a 50 bag of heroin or fucking coke and you don't pay me back, that's my loss. I'm not going to go after you. What do I get out of making your life worse? You're not the other drug dealer who's got a ton of money for me to steal or drugs. It's a bully mentality of Bash. So he's not all right. He tries to pick on people he thinks he can get over on. And I cannot stand that mentality in people. Then he teamed up with that convicted fucking sex offender, rapist, who has a fucking sex offense charge on a girl under 13 that he was convicted of. Then he's got four charges of girls, both 16 and under, down to 11, and 16 and over that were thrown out. But guess what? I've been arrested a bunch. I never had a sex crime. You've never, how do you even get questioned for a sexual assault case on an 11-year-old? What are you doing that they would even bring that up?
Convicted of a sexual assault against a woman in a nightclub. And then he's got two grape allegations, and he's got an allegation of kitty fiddling an 11-year-old. Now, I don't know any bloke that has that. I don't know any
Exactly.
bloke that has that.
Exactly. You don't listen. You don't get smoke without fire. I've always said this because I hate police and I hate the court systems. They lie. But sex crimes, they kind of can't lie about. Women don't want to be labeled rape victims. And I'm just telling you that I've never been accused of those things. You've never been. How the fuck do you get accused of a fucking child molesting kid? I've been around kids, my sister's kid, everything. Like, how does that even come up into an 11-year-old isn't going to think, let me say he did something. All I'm saying. So Bash hates me and jumps so much so that he's saying, and you know what? If you're pushing up on a girl in the night small and grabbing her ass and bouncing her into a corner, you're a piece of shit. I don't like you. I don't like what you're about. Fuck you. You should be stabbed to death. We stab those people to death in New York State prisons. Child
Hmm.
molesters and sex offenders, they die brutally or they get fucked up badly. It ain't no fucking UK thing where people talk about it and don't do it. They get cut up. I don't like those people. And Bash, as far as I'm concerned, if you're fucking hanging out with one of them, you're one of them. And that's that. He's a fucking rat. And he is a
Hmm.
fucking bully. He only does it to people he thinks he can get away with it on. He ain't agreed to fight me. All this talk of he'll get me in the street. You're not going to do anything in the street. He knows exactly where to find things. He knows, and he
I
won't
seen the
come near.
clip. I seen that clip where he said there was something to do about a no rules fight, and there was a
I
weight
got to
around it.
lose weight
Look,
all of a sudden.
yeah, well, I mean, like in this the world that yous are in, I mean, if there's beef, fight. If you want a straightener, fight. I get that. Listen, I can't speak on it. I'm not a bare knuckle boxer, but the way I seen it from both of you, listen, that would be a great fight. You were willing to take it. You were willing to just show up at any time.
I'll kill him. He can't fight. The guy
Hmm.
literally can't. He hasn't won a fight in 2 years. He just is terrible. But that's just about Bash. But continue with your questions. I just don't want anyone to say he's a good guy because they don't know him. He's the type
Okay.
of rat that will beat
Yeah.
on somebody. The motherfucker beat up a crackhead and posted it. And then he posted the Godfather's theme
Right.
on
So there's
his
a
story.
bully tactics then on vulnerable people.
Yeah, but you posted the Godfather theme. What are you? You're from fucking like East London. You're not Don Corleone, you fucking loser. Yeah, I get annoyed about that activity.
A question I have for you though: how did you get into the bare knuckle boxing? Was just a natural transition from a guy that was wrestling? Yeah, you come from a tough neighborhood. You've had to survive and fight
No,
people on the
Levittown wasn't
street.
necessarily tough. I just wanted to clarify that. Levittown wasn't like a ghetto. It just had its. Levittown was a white middle class area with a lot of nice houses. Like a lot of those families weren't involved. It was just the element of the kids there that were growing up into teenagers and adults. A lot of them turned a certain way. But the area itself looked like something from a fucking movie, like beautiful lawns, nice houses. I don't know what it looks like now. I haven't been there in a bit. But yeah, the element of just the kids was a little more fucking rough. We would fight with the police and shit a lot more than other towns would, and then other people grew up and started doing that. So I don't want people to think I'm saying Levittown was like New Jack City because it wasn't. But
Mhm.
I was so bare knuckle. I was just basically eating Chinese food one day, and I saw a Vice documentary on something called "You Be Bad," and a Jimmy McCory was fighting in a pub in England, and they showed a promoter, Jim Freeman Dove, and Joe Brown, and so I had Facebook, and so I wrote them, and they told me, look, yeah, pay for your own ticket, come over, fight for us, and we'll pay you. We can't fly you over because we've had another American take our money and not show up. I said, yeah, no problem. So at the time, I was heavily involved with fucking a lot of drug like running. Like I would get like 4 to 8 pounds of drugs in the mail, be it weed or whatever else, coke, and it would be mailed to me, and I'd sign for it. And luckily, it was never fucking monitored by the DEA or anything, or I wouldn't be having this conversation. And so I had money to spend, put it like that. I could book a ticket and I could leave for 3 weeks and I could pay for where I'm staying in England, fight, make my money back, and then make some extra, then come back. So it was nothing to me. So I got my passport and I flew over in 2016 to England and Coventry and I fought. And that was my introduction into it. And, I fought for years bare knuckle boxing for Joe and Jim for UB Bad, which is now BKB trademark. And that is how the story. There's no real big thing. I was just eating a bunch of fucking Chinese spare ribs and was looking at the TV. I was like, oh, this is fucking easy enough. I mean, who the fuck doesn't want to fucking go fly somewhere and fight? It's like a vacation. I've never been to a country that I haven't fought it. I've never had a vacation. I've never gone somewhere where I'm sitting by a pool drinking fucking Mai Tais, relaxing. Every place I've ever been has been to fight somebody. Now, after or before, if I'm hanging out, cool. But I've never been to like the Dominican Republic or fucking Lanzarote or Ibiza and like hung out. Like I go places to fight people. Not to say I won't. I'm just saying I've never been nowhere.
Hardest nationality.
Oh, I don't think any nationality is hard. People are people. Everyone bleeds.
Okay, then
Um,
the hardest guy you've ever fought then.
Depends. There's been a lot of people I fought, like this French guy that I fought in King of the Streets. The first one, I beat his ass for 7 out of those 9 minutes, and he won because he could take it. Everyone says the French are weak. I broke Ricky Nelder's face, his cheekbone. He got up and broke my eye socket. He's English. I've lost to Ian Stevens in the UFC. He was a UFC guy, 2-0 in the UFC, like an Olympic almost wrestler. Basically, could have went to the Olympics. He ragdolled me with his wrestling and got me. So, like, nationality, I think people get stuck in this. Oh, this nationality. Everyone has bone, skin, and muscle. If you shoot that motherfucker, he will die. He will bleed. The only difference you will find with people from certain regions of the world is luxury. And what I mean by that is you will get people like me who had the luxury to maybe wrestle in school. So we did it. Then we got bored with it and we stopped. Versus a place like Dagestan, where you will wrestle because there is nothing else here. You don't have another option. So, of course, that person might be a little more fundamentally inclined to go more. Do you know what I'm saying? Versus somebody who has the option to say, hey, I don't want to wrestle anymore. It was cool. I think I want to go to college when I finish school. I think I want to go to be a design engineer, or I want to go to be a doctor. You have that attitude because you have the ability, because you have the luxury of it. So it's not a nationality. I would say it's a regional poor versus not poor. When you get a lot of these really, really poor countries, places like Chechnya, Dagestan, they don't have anything. There's no way out but that. So they're going to become an extremist in that, which is why they do so well. Then you factor in religion with a lot of those guys being like Islamic. If I was going to pick one like geographical location that produced the most die-hard athletic people, I would pick like Caucasus, because I've trained with the Chechens and the Georgians and the Dagestanians, and they're
hard people, man. They are. I met one once, and they are the hardest people. Very respectful. You respect them, they will respect you. But as you say, you take away options from people and you give them the will to fight. So if they have to fight, it was like Khabib said to Tony Ferguson, "You can't street fight. You're American. You're American. It's illegal to street fight." And he meant that, basically saying, "Look, where I come from, we fucking street fight. You know, if we get into a fight, it's to the death."
It's like a family separating it, you could get a lot more hurt.
Yeah.
But then again, in Tony Ferguson's reality, who street fights in America? We'll just shoot you. Everyone shoots you. Everyone has a gun. You could be street fighting all you want in Dagestan. I got 3 illegal AK-47s and I got an illegal 40 caliber, 16 shot holds, 15 hollow tips in the clip. Want to fuck with me in the street? No, you don't, because I'll knock a limb off you if I'm in a bad mood. And I'm not the only motherfucker in America, and that's illegal. You got people legally who will shoot you in the face if you post up to them in a stand your ground state, and they won't get arrested for it. It's legal to defend yourself. So it's a give and a take thing. But when I was training with the Dagestanians and the Chechens and all those guys in Germany, that was, twice a day for 2 months. And that's what I mean, is you'll get these guys that from their little village, they don't have an option. MMA is it. Wrestling is it. Wrestling defines their family name. Wrestling was fun for me as a kid. It didn't define my family name. My dad worked at NBC News. We were rich for a little while. We had a mansion. We were like living in a house off Desperate fucking Housewives for a few years. My childhood was not fraught with fucking like, I didn't live in New Jack City. What was it? But these have that. So of course they're going to do maybe 500 more shots than me. Of course, when they're in a tournament, you need to win it more. Not even for anything other than their culture there. That is where you draw the line when it comes to a geographic location. But why? It's not like, oh, woke up to the Russian, they're tougher than someone from France. No, it's what has made each individual what a lot of players don't have. And that's why the Thais are so amazing at fighting, at Thai fighting.
They basically fight every week. They're fighting all the time.
Yeah. And people can see these Thais when like I've seen Thais that are great fight. They get a little banged up, they stop fighting, and they just walk around each other for the last 2 rounds. Why? And people are like, what are they doing, pussies? Well, you're gonna go to your work, do whatever you do for money. These motherfuckers have to fight every week. They don't feel they can totally win and they might get hurt. Why are they going to do it? That's what I'm saying, is that type of stuff is a different thing altogether. but I'm not like, people like, oh, a Russian, a Pole, a black guy, a white guy, a Brit. Uh, that in the Western world, it's up for grabs, but don't go fucking getting into someone from Dagestan or Chechnya.
Poverty can basically either destroy you or make you indestructible.
Yeah, definitely helps. I mean, like my situation back years ago when I was really involved with moving and transporting and selling drugs.
Yeah.
I can't work. Did felon. Did I work? Yes. I've worked a ton of jobs off the books, from commercial fishing to demolition, but I'm greedy. I want more. I want things. I want to look at everything like I'm fucking Smaug from Lord of the Rings. I want dragons.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
And you're on Instagram with your flashy watch and your bitches and your rings. I'm gonna duct tape you up, and I'm gonna take it off you. And if you fight me, I'm gonna torture you. And I've done it. I'm not saying I've killed people. I'm saying that I've tortured people that are duct tape that I saw on Instagram.
Tell us then, before you go, because I know I've only got you for half an hour, but tell us
no,
then.
oh,
well, that's good. Thank you. Tell us then about that world, because obviously I've got you on to talk about the BKB and the bare knuckle boxing, but tell us about that world that you've came from, that torturous drug world. Can you tell us any stories from that era?
yeah, criminal. There was a guy, I'm not going to say his name, who I used to work with a lot, who's got a lot of money. Like, he is somebody that you would look at and owns multiple properties, but he can't have anything in his name. He's been shot, he's been stabbed, and he's no joke himself. He's got fucking $50,000 pinky rings and necklaces on and shit, and it's all real, and it's all from fucking drugs. Over the years, it was down tuned to from like coke and heroin to weed, because weed wouldn't get you life. Let's say back before they legalized it, you could get caught with 50 pounds of weed and you still got a hope of getting out in a little while. I mean, it's federal. If I go to fucking Boston from Long Island with 50 pounds, I got a problem if I could stop. Maybe I'm out in 15, transportation, 20-ish, cool. But it isn't fucking life in the feds like if you get caught with a pound of coke or fucking ecstasy. And me and him would always be around each other. I met him in prison. He was originally from my town. He was slightly older than me. And basically, I would work with him constantly. He would give me an address, and I would drive to it with a bunch of shit, collect the money, and drive back. And I would get a percentage of that. And those drives could be anywhere from Boston to fucking Florida to wherever. Although I never went on super long ones because all my tattoos, you don't want to fucking have stuff in a U-Haul truck with these on you going through the Midwest. But he would also say, yo, so-and-so tonight, look at this motherfucker's Instagram. Do you know him? No. Do you remember him? Yeah, I remember him being over at the strip club or whatever. Yeah. Okay, so he annoyed me, whatever. You see that? Get his watch for me. Cool. I'll get his watch for you. And I'm going to get his watch for you. And I'm going to take other things off of his being too. But, it never was about solely the money, because as much as I like it, it was more just fun. Like, those guys, they're always posing. They always got their little girls. And then you've got them begging for their lives before you, because you're like a crocodile watching them. I love stalking motherfuckers. When I was younger, I love it. I love watching them. I love finding where they live, watching when they come in, watching when they come out. And you just trace them, and you just, it's easy, especially when you're dealing with that type of person who thinks they're untouchable because they haven't really been touched. And then that's that. Again, it's not else to the extreme of things, but yes, I would return with property. And here you go. Okay, cool. Thank you. And here you go for your time. Thank you. And that's that.
So it seems like you look at people that are flashy and stuff, and it seems like to me, you'll always bet on the underdog. You've got respect for the underdog, but you don't like the guys that are flashy Instagram. This is me. Look at me.
That's another thing. I'm just saying, in the sense of, if you have it, it's mine if I want it. I don't knock you, because I might do the same thing when I've had money. No, I don't really feel any affinity towards an underdog. I don't really feel connected to anyone or anything, any group. That's why all these fighters, They annoy me. They have this like unwritten weird rule book. Brothers in arms, warriors. Shut
Hmm.
up. No, you're not. Shut up. Or like they do things like I'm a cosmetologist. I went to cosmetology school. I worked in salons doing hair and makeup on top of doing commercial fishing. Like, what do I have? Like there's these gender roles you're supposed to have. Like, because I'm a fucking bare knuckle street fighter that's fought in bare knuckle and fought in Bellator. People are shocked when I show them pictures when I was 27 working in fucking um, Sephora makeup. Like, yeah,
You
and
serious?
what?
You worked in that setting?
Yeah, I was a cosmetologist. I
Wow.
went to beauty school and got my license in my 20s. Yes.
Wow.
And well, salons. I actually stopped. I got hired to do color work as an apprentice at DeFranco Salons in Huntington, Long Island, New York. And the reason I didn't follow it up and take the job was because at the time I was in my late 20s. I graduated cosmetology school, and well, excuse uh and in Loka Chemai Seitan, just coming from Thailand. He opened a gym in I opened up and I was training under Coben, who's like a Muay Thai legend. But to get into Manhattan was a fucking 45. Then you got to walk a half hour to the gym, training minimum of an hour to 2 hours. Then I'm taking a shower. Then I'm walking 30 minutes back to the train station, a 45-minute trip back to the island. Then didn't have time to work at all. So I was selling drugs. I was robbing drug dealers. And then what's even easier than selling drugs was just your boy giving you 3 pounds of cocaine and saying, yo, listen, I need you to drive this over to Boston. You need to meet this person on this number. They're going to give you a certain amount of money, count it, and drive it back to me, and I'll give you a percentage. Cool, thanks. And that was easier to do, and it led me to be able to train. So I trained at Coben's until I got kicked out. But the point of what I'm saying is that I had the job locked in. It could have, that was 10, 13 years ago. Could have just fucking ran with that and stopped training. But I also wasn't even pro at that time. I was still fighting amateur. I turned pro when I was 30. So yeah, no, I worked at a few salons. And then I started mainly doing like hair and makeup for these stupid fucking Long Island like Guido like clubs that would pop up. Like there was a Club Love and like Glow. Although I didn't do a show with Glow. Anyone from Long Island knows what Glow is. And it's like all the places where all the fucking dumb bitches with the fucking implants and the fake lips that think they're all fucking the Sopranos hang out with their boyfriends Tony and Vinny. Like and the club will fucking like say like have an excuse for some bullshit so they could make a ton of fucking money overselling vodka shots. And they'll give like a salon that was involved with them would be like, oh, we have 10 models. Spray paint them up to look like cheetahs and no clothes. Do their hair and makeup. Here's $300 for the day. So that was cool. I could do it. I mean, but my point is like I have nothing in common with these other fighters when they know stuff. I was also an ice cream man. I had my own ice cream group, drive around in an ice cream truck all day. It was money. It was cool until it didn't make enough and I sold it. I wasn't working for anyone. I was working for myself and I was eating all the fucking ice cream. It's one reason I got so fat. Um,
I would
yeah.
too, mate. I would too. See, if I was doing that all day, I'd be getting stoned and eating ice cream.
The only core things I lock myself into is I am not a bully, and you can trust me within reason. When I say things like you can't trust me, you're stupid. Yeah, you can't if we have problems. But I'm not that guy that's going to sneak thief you. If I take something from you, you'll know it. And I'm not that guy that's going to fucking. I'm not like a Bash or a Deca. Nothing in my record has ever pointed to it, and I don't want to be. You know, I've had arguments with people before in traffic where I've gotten out of my car to commit a murder, and the person's got tinted windows, and I walk up on the car, and it's a mother who's a big mouth, and I'm like, fuck, I can't kill you. Why not? Well, you're a girl. Have a nice day. You take the parking spot. Or I've been in the fucking store and get into an argument with a guy, and as I get closer, ready to knock his teeth out the back of his head, he's 60. So I tell him, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Get in front of me in line. I shouldn't have talked to you like that. You're older than me. But now, if you're a 20 something, 30-year-old, 40-year-old, I'm going to fuck you up. I'm going to throw you all over that motherfucker. And I've done it. That's all the only thing I connect to is I have my own rules and regulations, just like Instagram. If you say something to me stupid on Instagram and I see you behind it, we're gonna address it. People pop off at the mouth when those things.
Have you ever been in a situation where that's happened? You've approached the guy and then he's give as good as you, like he's give as good as he's got, like he can actually fight.
No, just stab him. If he keeps fighting, just keep stabbing him, keep cutting him. No, not in the street. I've been cut up and I've been jumped, but no. Anybody I've ever got, I've gotten one of three ways. I've gotten them one-on-one in a fight where I've fucking done something hideous to them, and they fought for a little while up until you bite like a finger half off, or you bite their lips, or you bite their face. Or it's a situation where I don't like you, so I'm going to stalk you. And I'm sitting on the side of your house watching you come in, and I catch you in your yard walking to your car. And then whatever happens, happens. If you make the papers, if you're in the hospital, if something happened to your face, whatever. Or I'm in your house waiting for you. I'm 40 years old. I'm from Long Island, New York. We didn't have CCTV growing up. We still don't.
Yeah.
We have places in between houses. We have bushes. It is easy to do these things. I've been, but I'm just saying is that no, I've had
Long Island sounds like Ireland. I'm not going to lie to you, people. Like there's sometimes I speak to people from England and I say to them like they'll make like 10 million videos on each other, and I like if I made one video like that, I would probably have my legs chopped off by now with the shit that you say to each other. So
Long Island that are serious. Like you have a normal working class town, you have a rich town. Go to the rich town and fuck around with the person whose dad is a fucking stockbroker. They have legal guns. They'll shoot you. They have the police on their side. They'll shoot you. Go to the working class guy's house. He'll shoot you. Go into the hood, which is the hood, like Wyandanch and Hempstead. Those motherfuckers put up gunshot cameras because people were getting shot every day on the blocks, and they shot the cameras off the fucking thing. The police don't go through those areas because it's like training day at nighttime in some of them. And then you go 5 minutes over and you're in fucking Old Westbury, where it looks like you entered like some fucking weird rich movie. Again, but the point of what I'm just saying is that like with all of it, like these fighters, they have these like rule books they're supposed to follow, and these motherfuckers don't even follow them either. Half these fighters are all women beaters, beat up their ex-girlfriends. Fucking, if you knew what people's convictions actually were, and I know a lot of them, and I'm not going to say names because it's not my place, but it's like, yo, what the fuck is wrong with you people? But I get judged for being bad because I'm outspoken, right? But I don't really speak on things unless it's directed at me. I really don't care about much. I do what I'm doing. Why the fuck do I care what fucking those two are doing? Why do I care? I kind of don't. So, but unless they ask me or they imply something, and then because of the social media age, everyone has a voice. Everyone has a fucking outspoken opinion, So like I'll be set to fight Mark, let's say, and Mark's little friend Tom will run his mouth online, real reckless. Now Tom doesn't realize that if I see him, I'm gonna headbutt him in his teeth. And then Mark's like, "Oh, you beat up my fan." Yeah, I did. What about it? And now Mark's a tough ring fighter, but I'm willing to shoot you and stab you in the street. And now we are in a stupid scenario where something's gonna happen.
I seen there was you were going, I'm not going back to the Bash thing, but you were talking back and forth with Bash, and he said something to you like, well, like, there's always the option of a hammer. There's always the option of ammonia. There's always these other options. And I was looking at you going, is this guy being fucking serious here? Is he actually being serious right now? And I realized, yeah, he's being serious. So like, it's a reality. If I say to you, Eric, I want to fucking fight you, and you know what? No rules. You're going to show up with a hammer and a bag of ammonia and go, right, let's get it on, cocksucker.
Well, he threatened me with a hammer.
Oh, yeah, but you were willing to show up with a fucking hammer. You were willing to actually...
Yeah. Well, that's not a weapon in my world. A hammer is a home improvement tool. Like, that's not a weapon. A knife, unless you're talking about like an actual knife or a sword, that's a weapon. But like, a hammer is a tool. Like, Bash, this isn't fucking the duel in 1356, and you'd lose at that. You don't want to. You're not going to meet me in chainmail with a broadsword and have me fighting you like the old ways of the fucking England, which is cool. I would do that. I have no problem with it. But I'm just saying, like, he keeps threatening to hit me in the head with a hammer. Bash hit me in the head with a hammer, and I would kill it. What was it? Where I'm from, again, a weapon is an AR-15. They sell them legally in Kmart. You can buy an AK-47 over the counter. That's a weapon. That's a weapon. It's designed to do something. A hammer, I can fucking put together my fucking dresser with, or I can just use it on you. Anything could be.
Are you pro gun or are you anti gun? What would you be on the political spectrum?
Political, I'm an extreme left wing person. I'm a leftist.
Antifa.
But no, I don't belong to any group. I don't like fascists. I think that I don't belong to those people. But when I say extreme leftist, I do not support the police and I do not like big government telling me or anyone what we can do. I believe that anybody has a right, unless you're a child molester or a rapist or a weirdo like that, to do what you want. I think if you're trans or gay, do what you want. I don't care. The going in the bathroom stuff, I think, is a little strange, and I don't understand why people would want to do that. So, if you're a cross dresser, use the male bathroom. If you don't have those parts, why should a little kid look over and see you? So you know what I'm saying? But when I say extreme left, I'm basically saying no big government, and I hate the police. Everything is outside.
That's a right wing view though, the bit no government, and the left wing view would be to have more government.
Not in America. In America, right wing love the police. Blue lives matter. Every time a cop murders a citizen, you see the right wing. Blue lives matter. They're authority worshippers, bootlickers.
Mm-hmm.
As far as guns go, everyone should own the guns except the police, and except England. Ireland should own all. What was it? I'm extremely
I don't know about that, mate. If everybody had a gun over here, it would be a pretty fucked up island. We did have guns there for about 40 years. We just killed each other.
When it comes to guns, I'm pro-gun, but I don't want government background checks. Why the fuck am I going to tell the government what I own? So when I say I'm left-wing, it's because if someone wants to be gay, I don't care. You see these right-wing guys going crazy about it. Well, Jesus said you're going to hell. I'm not religious. If somebody wants to fucking be an immigrant and run over on a boat from Mexico, cool. Why the fuck do I care? Oh, illegal immigrants. Motherfucker, you giving the police tanks. The police in America all have tanks. The guy sitting on the side of the road watching you if you're going too fast, he's got a fucking gun on his hip. He's got a shotgun in the front, and he's got an AR-15 with a 3 fucking spray clip, maybe even set fully auto if you want to be technical, maybe, in his trunk. So if you're speeding on the roads, your tax money paid for. That fucking public servant government bootlicker that you're paying with your tax money is telling you can't drive the car you bought with your tax money. He's pulling you over in a car your tax money bought, and he's killing you with guns and bullets and nightsticks and boots and handcuffs that your tax money bought. And you're going to complain because a family of illegal immigrants came over from Mexico and want to work and escape a bad life? Fuck you. I can't stand the fucking Republic.
Good point, mate. Very good point. Like, everybody has an opinion over here about all this shit, but you know what? Listening to yourself, who's been through the trenches, who's seen what that lifestyle can do to people. Yeah, why are people giving off about, people trying to make a better life for themselves, but at the same time.
Here, let me say another thing too, though. I want to clarify something here, though. Another thing with it is that when I say I don't care, it doesn't affect my life. I mean, I see all these posts from all these fighters and these right-wing guys going crazy because there's a transgender that is on the cover of a magazine. Let me explain to you. Why do you care? If he's gay, if he's transgender, does it have any bearing on your life? Are you gay or transgender? No. Okay. So why does it bother you? Unless it's hitting some type of core fear you have in yourself. I think most of these guys are in the closet on the right, first off. Second off, if he's not doing anything, which he isn't, because he's not a fucking rapist or a child molester just because he's gay or transgender, why are you bothering him? And people are like, well, they're pushing this agenda. I'm going to explain to you why people consider they're pushing the agenda. Years back when I was in high school, you probably won't know this, there was a kid in Wyoming. He was in, I don't know, between 9th and 12th grade. Maybe he had just graduated. He was gay. He was taken by 2 like cowboys, like farmhands, and they beat him and they tied his neck with like barbed wire to a fence post, and they bashed his skull inside out, and they killed him. And when they were arrested, they were given support. They were supported by the community of the churches. Well, Jesus Christ said gays are bad and evil. No, what you did is you're a piece of shit for picking on this poor guy. You executed him, you tortured him for no reason. He didn't do anything to deserve it. So when you see people nowadays in 2023 pushing this gay agenda, as people call it, it's because they're in America. I can only talk from America. They're coming from a place where anything like outside of the big cities, that's what happens if you're gay or transgender. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're gay or you're going
Mate,
far
I
away.
totally get what you're saying. I'm covering a story right now with this guy called, I'll call him Creature Man, right? And this guy was a gay guy back in the 70s. Well, make a long story short, this guy is an elite predator. But that said, when looking into his story, he was done for a thing called crime against nature. 1975 in Nevada, that bestiality, pedophilia, and homosexuality were all lumped into the same thing. So if you were a homosexual, you were just a gay man, you were considered the same as somebody who has sex with animals or a
Yeah,
pedophile. So I
it's
mean,
crazy.
the fact that the
And that's
fact that
made by right wing motherfuckers who read so much of the Bible. Oh, Jesus said dinosaurs aren't real. Like, and this is the other thing. So then the right wing people fire back with, Eric, are you gay? Yeah, okay. Am I gay? Everyone knows how I am. What was it? I'll tell you what about it is the threat factor for me. I hate the police more than anything in this world. I don't like them, and I don't think in America they do a job. They don't protect anybody. It ain't like they're going out there helping the old elderly. They're fucking predators. I hate them. If you can justify taking away the rights of someone because of their sexuality, how easy is it for you to justify a cop killing me because he pulls me over and I tell him, fuck you, pig? It all translates because the people who don't like Jim turning into Janine are the same people that supported Derek Chauvin when he tortured George Floyd to death in handcuffs. And I don't, and that in America, you have a huge thing with these right wing, Republican, bootlicking, authoritarian loving motherfuckers who want to have a police state, basically. They say they don't. No big government, but they want
that's
Donald
the
Trump.
hypocrisy, though, Eric, isn't it? The hypocrisy is you have these people. By the way, I'm not calling you a hypocrite. I'm saying that's the
No,
hypocrisy from the right. They'll say, "Oh, if you're the left is big business, they're big business. They're all tied in with the pharmaceutical companies." But if you actually look at it, right, both is as bad as each other. Both are not for the people. You've got the right wing view where they're just going to literally turn it into a police state, bootlickers, support the blue,
but
and then
the left, you got to see that after what happened in America, with the Democrats and Biden, they defunded the police like massively. They put Chauvin in prison. Now they didn't give him life, but they gave him 20 something years. There was a time where if you had Republicans in office, he would have been given an award. So I don't think that they're both equally bad. Obviously, look, I don't like the government, which means I don't like the Democrats and the left wing. I don't vote Democrat, but I would rather be around a bunch of college kids who have democratic ideologies and are sitting there blogging about something and sipping Starbucks. There's no threat than these motherfuckers who want to fucking impress their uncle Jim Bob, who's the local fucking marshal down in fucking Mississippi. So they see me with fucking I don't know, something they don't like on my car, round effects. So they try to make a citizen's arrest, and now I either get shot or have to kill somebody. And now I'm looking at fucking 20 to life. That's all I'm saying is because it's very radicalized in America. It's either one or the other. I just, so when
yeah,
you say
that's what I'm
like,
saying. You have went through that stage where it was really right wing. Now it's really left wing. It'll balance itself out, but what you can't do is go back to either crazy.
no, we need to be like, we just need to fucking defund all the police and get rid of them. And then we need to help the Irish totally fucking take back Belfast from the fucking
Oh,
English.
here,
Drive them
mate.
back to fucking
Listen,
England.
that's happening soon, and I'm not via
Where are
violence.
you
It's
from
not.
in Ireland?
I'm just outside Belfast.
You're Southern Irish, man. The
No, no,
Republic of Ireland.
I'm from the north.
Oh, you are from there. You're from Belfast.
Yeah, well, no, not from Belfast. I'm from outside Belfast. It's a wee town outside Belfast. I'll not say it here because every weirdo's listening. Like, but um, you get what I'm saying. Like, but
Yeah,
the whole Belfast thing, the whole Northern Ireland thing, right? We've got a collection of people here that are, pro-British. You've got a collection of
I
people
know
here who, and listen, I have friends on both sides. All I'm going to say is, right, that there's been a lot of violence for years. There's a lot of hatred, bitterness between people, for people like myself, an Irish nationalist who wants a united Ireland. But it's going to be done via democracy, and I can see within the next 10 years there's going to be a united Ireland, which then undoubtedly will kick off another war, a civil war, because the unionists, the loyalists, they will not be happy about that.
I hate unionists. I'm fighting up here in Scotland next week. There's a lot of unionists. They can go fuck
Oh yeah,
themselves.
oh yeah, oh yeah, mate. There's a listen. Well, the thing, yeah.
I'm
I
walking
mean,
out to the Samsung versus an English guy in Ireland, and I'm walking out with Celtic fucking stuff. Fuck the Hearts and fuck the Rangers. I'm fanatical with that shit. There are some
yeah,
English
yeah,
guys I do like. I'm not gonna lie to you. Yes, some I'm cool
yeah,
with.
yeah.
A lot I'm not cool with, and I'm like, I'm fucking from New York, and I'm like fucking the. You would think you'd think my name's like O'Neill O'Henry or something with how fanatical I get with like Ireland and Scotland being for Scottish and Irish. Like the Republic of Scotland needs to happen.
Well, look, the thing about it is, look, when you're living in that chaos and you're living around that divide, that type of the divide, personally, myself, I said to myself, I've been living in a Republican area. I'm going to live in a loyalist unionist area because I can
Yeah,
do this. And that's what people need to do. So I choose to live in an area it's split now. But whenever I first moved in, it was predominantly loyalist, and I didn't give a fuck because I said to myself, this is the island of Ireland, regardless of what currency you use, and I'll move wherever the
you're,
fuck I want to move. And I get
yeah,
on with everybody. I've never had any
yeah.
trouble with anybody. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, when you sent me the ad to do the interview, I heard your accent. I was like, oh, he's Irish. I'll do it with him.
And mate, listen, the thing about it is Ireland's loyalist, look, I have to state this, loyalist and Republican, unionist and nationalist. Look, we've been through the wars of it, and a lot of people have died. There's there a lot of people are still dying. But people need to realize now that drugs are completely ripping through the community from Dublin to Belfast, and people need to understand
Who
that
brings that
there is,
into Ireland?
huh?
Who brings that into Ireland?
To be honest with you, mate, it's one of those things. It's everywhere. Do you know what I mean?
Like
Huh?
in England, like, you got a lot of areas that are like Albanians and stuff like that.
Well, the Irish would bring it in. Do you know what I mean? It's
Really?
controlled by,
That,
well,
that's that's what I wouldn't understand based on the like nationality love and everything. Because like in areas I've seen in England, you got like these like Balkan like refugees that come and then that follows. I'm not saying all of them. I'm just
no, no,
saying
we'll
like
have that in Ireland too. You have you have refugees, you have Asians over here, you have Pakistanis, you have Indians, you have all of that, and I'm sure that all gets shipped in. But you have to understand another thing. Look where Ireland sits in the water. What's
yeah,
the closest land to Ireland from the west of Ireland?
yeah,
From the
yeah,
water, and then you'll understand
yeah,
but people don't realize the Irish army, they do a lot of reconnaissance for other places, and
yeah,
they've got like a big drug enforcement, and they'll fly across that water taking serial numbers of boats, and most of the boats
mm.
don't have serial numbers because it's packed full of cocaine, and
Oh wow,
50% of those boats actually arrive in Ireland. And then you've got China, the cocaine comes in from China to right into the Netherlands, into England and stuff. So it comes from both ends. Listen, the Irish are doing it. There's the Irish cartel. They would, you don't want to speak about that too much, but it's there.
me
The
up.
Irish do it, and
Tell anybody in the
everybody.
Irish cartel I need a fucking job.
There you
Same
go.
thing with
There's
anyone in the Balkans. Any Albanians or Serbs, hook me up. I need a job.
well,
I'm
there you
good at
go.
it.
Like, I mean, there you are offering yourself, and I'm sure. Listen, if you want to contact him, I'll leave his Instagram in the description of this video. There you go, guys. There you go. Listen, just to know what you're doing for the future. What is your plans for the future? So where do you see yourself within the next 5 years in the fighting world?
Probably dead from the amount of steroids I'm taking. If I'm not, then probably retired within 5 years. I'm 40 now. I'll be 45. Hurts. My body feels like I've been in a fucking car crash. I have 100 and fucking like 12 fights altogether with my amateur and pro. I signed a contract to BYB. I won my first BYB fight by beating the undefeated Richie Leak, who is now defeated thanks to me. The first ever fight in Dubai. That was what I did. So I got a 4-fight contract with them. After that, renegotiate. Just gonna do that. Keep fighting for BYB, some King of the Streets, and I got a good record in everything. That's either even or it's above, except pro MMA. And pro MMA, I'm 1-6 because I fought like 5 undefeated guys. No one else would fight. So I'm gonna do some more MMA fights because I need to get that record even before I retire. I can't
That's what I was
retire
going to
with
say, man. Why
17
did
and
you
8.
not just go into the MMA? The MMA was brilliant for you. Like, why could you not just go into full MMA? Because you've got that wrestling background. You're an
Good
absolute
enough
killer.
because I never did it serious enough. I had a lot of injuries when I was younger, and I just didn't. As good of a wrestler as I am versus these Polish hooligans and stuff over in King of the Streets against another motherfucker who's a fucking all-state wrestler from Pennsylvania, I would fall a little short. But I'll do MMA. I mean, I probably got this MMA fight in Alabama versus Bear Hill, who's currently undefeated as a heavyweight, 2-0. That might be mid July. And then once my legs healed, I got a fight versus this guy, Tony Mustard from England in Scotland. So I got some MMA stuff coming up. Just gonna fight. I broke my leg twice in fucking 8 months. So I'm
Wow,
letting
that
that.
must have been sore, mate.
Yeah, I fought with it 4 times too. What was it? I broke my fibula and I didn't let it heal, and then it rebroke, and then I kept doing bare knuckle. But it's almost fully healed. So once that, it's just King of the Streets, Frontier of the Streets that just got in touch with me. UUF just got in touch with me, which is another King of the Streets offshoot type thing from Denmark, from Germany. So I'm gonna fight on those. I would like to get back to Vittori in Poland and try to fucking avenge my losses there. Keep doing BYB because that pays a real lot, and then fucking retire by the time I'm 45 before I fucking die from too much trend. And for everybody
Well, at
that
least you're
watches
very
that thing,
honest. You're honest, though, Eric. You're
I love
honest about
steroids.
this.
Yeah, I love steroids. Steroids are great. If you've ever wrestled with anybody, wrestle with them and grapple with them, and then take juice for a fucking year and wrestle and grapple with them. That's when it really matters. It really matters when you're wrestling with somebody. Boxing, not so much, because boxing's more, speed and velocity and distance covering. But when you're pressed on a motherfucker against a cage, leaning into him, drilling your fucking overhook into his fucking back, into his shoulders, punching him, yeah, that's when all that fucking equipoise and tren and propionate definitely work.
You say that about boxing, but listen, Canelo's on those juicy steroids, like
Oh yeah,
those
yeah. No,
juicy,
and well, it's more what I mean. What I mean about the boxing is it's more of a recovery thing. If I
yeah.
punch you, it's not me laying on you, physically muscling your fucking shoulder into a place to rip your neck off. It's it definitely helps, but it's not the same as if me and you are tied up in a clench with a 50-50 underhook and overhook. You don't want to be doing that against the guy who knows how to do it, who's on something. It's always going to be worse. Just like, but
McGregor's definitely on steroids. You see the size of that guy's head these days, like
just a strong, fucking proud Irishman.
yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, he definitely has to be though.
What's the dog's name?
This is Cash.
Cash. Nice to meet you, Cash. You're a big boy.
Yeah, he's cool.
He's a lovely dog. Lovely dog.
He's good. That was the dog that was trying to chomp my fucking hands and legs when I was on the call with Bash, and I yelled at him and gave him the look to calm him down.
Yeah.
It's just the tone of voice, and people in the comments are like, "Oh, he's abusing his dog." Yeah.
No, man. Listen.
If I tried to abuse that dog, he'd abuse me.
Yeah, who was it? I was speaking to somebody the other day, and they have some type of a dog. It's like a mustache. It's some type of a weird dog, right? But what it'll do is it gets to a certain age, and it will go for dominance in the household against the alpha male, the guy.
Yeah.
And this guy was out walking it, and it just came to that age of, I don't know, testosterone, and it challenged him, and he asked it to come over. It didn't, and it started growling at him. Like for no reason. This was just a situation. And he said he went over and he looked at it right in the face, and he put his knuckle in the dog's mouth. And it didn't hit the dog. He just put his hand in the dog's mouth to show him that he wasn't afraid. And then within about 30 seconds, this dog went back to normal, and then he seen the guy.
He was playing around like with his jaws. If you're not looking and he bites on your fucking hand, it hurts. So I yelled at him, and then everybody in the comments was like, "Look at the way I said, I'll fuck you up." And it was the tone of voice that made him calm down. and everyone was like, "Oh, he's abusing his dog. He's a dog fighter." The dog would eat me if he wanted to.
Yeah, yeah,
Abusing
of
the
course,
dog.
man. You have to show that. You're like, you know what I mean? I seen that and I knew that you weren't abusing the dog. You were saying that at the end of the day, you have to be dominant, like.
Yeah, just look as fuck is like a crocodile.
He's the dog version of you, mate. That's what he is.
Well, I think he's got a little more muscles than me. I'm a little fatter than he is. He definitely looks better with his shirt off than I do. All I
That's
have,
it.
if my
That's it.
whole body could look like my legs, I'd look like Ronnie Coleman, but we didn't get that fucking type of genetics. I look like Homer
Yeah.
Simpson with like Ronnie Coleman legs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Did you get the leg genetics in? Did you?
My legs are gigantic. They're bigger than like Francis Ngannou's, and they're about as strong too. I was
What about?
squatting 150 kilograms the other day,
Yeah.
and that was like for a set of 6 and up. And I dropped the weight when I went to rack it, and it broke my American phone. It fell on my phone, so that's why I had to
Yeah.
buy the UK phone.
Yeah. You sent me a picture. Just on that. So, any call outs you want to call anybody out?
Nah, I fucking whatever. Simon Hendrickson, we got to fight, little bitch. Simon the not so savage. I want to kill that motherfucker. Simon Hendrickson, we got to fight. Get on UUF. Frontier of the Street, if King of the Streets doesn't want to put it on me and you, Simon Hendrickson, you little motherfucker. You don't know how to fight, I'll fuck you up. That's really it. I want Simon. Been wanting him. He refused. He blocked me all over the place. Yeah. As far as BYB goes, they know who I want next. Leo Pla. Leo Pla wants it too. So we'll do that. And then I'm just gunning for that title that they have, the heavyweight one. And then, yeah, whatever. I'll just fight 100 other motherfuckers in between waiting.
Well, Eric, I have to say, mate, it's been an absolute pleasure. I really, really enjoyed that podcast. I haven't
Yeah,
laughed
appreciate
like
it.
that. I haven't laughed like that in ages. Not with laughing at your
No, no,
storytelling,
I know.
but with the whole right wing, left wing thing. That was good. Mate, I actually
Right.
really did enjoy that. So, mate, it was my pleasure to have you on here. If you want to go
Yeah.
follow Eric on social media, all the links can be found in the description. Go follow this guy now. Jump on this now, guys. He's going to be fighting.
Is there something I could see so I could see comments or something?
No, this isn't live.
Okay, well, you're going to post it?
Yeah, this will be posted probably Wednesday or something. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Send me the link when you do. I
Yeah,
love
of course.
comments. I love when people complain about
All right, definitely, mate. I'll definitely post the link for that there. But all the links for Eric's social medias can be found in the description and comment section. Head over and follow him on social media. Watch this guy fight. He's very, very entertaining. Go watch the interviews that he has already on YouTube. Very, very entertaining stuff. And that is the end of the podcast. Eric, gentleman, peace out, guys.
it. Appreciate it.